Good afternoon and welcome to the May 3rd, 2021 Board of Public Works and Safety meeting. It's all rise and Councilman Jim Barrett will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Eric?
Please join me in prayer. Almighty God, I ask your indulgence for this meeting today. In our hearts we plan our course, but I pray that you establish our steps as these involve seek your direction. May their decisions not be based upon what they know alone, but upon your wisdom as well. Please guide this board as they tend this day's agenda. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to welcome everyone. If you would, please remember to turn your cell phone ringer in the off position. And we will begin with roll call.
Brian Dobb.
Present.
Becky Gibson.
Present.
David Nettie.
Present.
Jim Barrett.
Okay, everybody has the minutes from the April 19th, 2021 regular meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to that?
Make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carried. We went down to new business. Josh, you want to come on up, sir? Or stand at the podium there, please?
Hello,
Hi.
Joshua Nurston. I'm one of the K-9 officers for the city of Connersville, and I just wanted to ask for permission. I have information on 2 different K-9 grants that I would like to apply for and would seek your guys' blessing on doing so. Both the grants deadline are in September, so I need to get started in writing those up.
Is there a match?
It is, both of the grants are non-matching monetary grants. I know on your agendas it says donations as well. That's kind of just a safety net in case we don't get the grants or we might not get the full grant. So let's just, further down the road to have your guys' blessings in case we need to do that.
What do these grants go for? I mean, I know K-9,
Up
but
to $10,000
I mean for the care of the K-9s or for the training or
for everything.
for everything?
Yes.
Okay.
I think they should apply for, it's grants plural.
Yes, I found 2 of them. One is through Aftermath and the other one is Ben Roethlisberger Foundation.
And they are 10,000 together? Or?
Up to 10,000 each, yes.
So we would have to come up with 10,000 to 20,000, right?
No, they're non-matching.
Non-matching.
Oh, non-matching. I'm sorry, you said that. I even wrote it down.
Sorry.
No, you said that.
I'll make a motion to approve Justin's request.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on top of those grants there.
No problem.
Thanks.
Okay. That one, the B got canceled. She's going to hit reschedule. Item C, approval resolution 2021-05 fire transfer.
And resolution 2021-05 is a transfer within the fire budget, moving $8,700 from specialty pay to clothing allowance.
Motion to approve the resolution.
Second?
Have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you very much. Item D, approval recommendation of handicap parking only signed to city council. Randy?
Yeah, he, what happened, we got a letter in for 1,900 blocks in Vermont. We got a letter from their doctor requesting that, so I went and checked the area, and it is residential parking right around their home, so it will be feasible in there.
Question. Have a motion?
Second.
And a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Okay. Thank you very much. On down to department matters. Brad?
Howdy.
Hello.
Okay, I'll tell you about the brief things and then I'll get into the oratory segment today.
The public hearing I'm gonna remind you of this coming Thursday, May 6th at the Roberts Building at 6 p.m. is to give residents in the area of the water main projects a chance to hear the contractor speak about the project and talk about things. We sent letters to people that are affected in those areas, but anybody from the public that thinks they might be affected by the project in the 10th Street Hill area, the Evie Drive area, or the Dairy Twist area, come to me. Or a Warren Dairy Twist too, that are north. I guess you were with me when we talked to them, so.
Yep.
Wanted to tell you that the date for the shred day has changed to May 15th. They had overbooked their equipment and we had to switch it out. So that's going to be on May 15th now at the transfer station from 8 to 11:30. You can look on our street department Facebook page for the rules. I don't have them in front of me, but it said paper clips and staples were okay. Not to use any big file clips, any big pieces of metal is pretty obvious why. Yeah, that's the ones I can think of, but there's a few other rules about that. You can find them on the street department Facebook.
Did you get with John to see if he would put it on TV3?
Did do that.
You
I
did?
already told him.
Okay, thank you.
Let's see, I wanted to tell you that the downtown sidewalk project is beginning this morning. You probably see they're starting to move in and put up signs, and they would be a little further ahead than they were if not for the rain a couple of days today and last week. So you can look for them to really invade that 300 block of Central over the next couple of days.
Is that the corporation that's renting the storefront downtown?
Well, the inspector is in one of by the old jewelry store in the corner. That's the inspector for this project is in there. And I'm not sure that I ever heard exactly where they were going to stage at. I see them down on the video store. So I don't know if they're bringing materials there or what.
I appreciate them making use of one of our storefronts.
Yep.
Talk about that project is kind of, just so, I know we've had the public meeting, I know we've been talking a lot about it, but just, now that it's started, let's talk about workflow, just so everyone's informed on how it's gonna go as far as we're not shutting all of Central down. We're doing block by block. You will see the light poles disappear. Are they doing all the lights? I remember for our last meeting, I'm trying to remember if they're doing all the lights, not the street lights, but the lights coming down. Or are they gonna try to work with them on block by block? Do you remember?
I think a lot of them are coming down all in one burst.
Yeah, because it's Duke and their contract, and they won't allow contractors to work, so they have their own. So all the street lights, not the intersection lights, but the street lights will be coming down, so they can get the new ones up, because it's going to be a block by block project. So they can't just do block by block with the lights. They got to get them all out. So
It's going to be dark downtown.
yeah, it's going to be dark downtown.
Without the lights for a while, so people have to get used to that a little bit.
But we are just doing block at a time now. We might get one block and start on the next block, because we're going to try to do one block at a time, because you got the water. There's going to be a lot of issues there, so just be watching for the signs if you do come downtown. But it's not the entire Central Avenue. We're going to try to do block by block. If I miss anything.
They've been communicating real well with the businesses, trying to make sure there's a couple of those that, like at the bookstore, it's going to be tough getting people in and out there for a few days, but they're trying to talk to everybody in advance to make sure we work with people best we can. Wanted to tell you, we just bought another Hustler lawnmower like we bought last year. That thing worked out really good, and he sold us another one for the same price we got last year, which I was really surprised with the cost of everything going up, about $8,500. So we'll let you know
Is that
about
the street department?
At the street department, yes. And
Rear discharge, correct?
this one is a side discharge.
Side discharge.
Yeah, because we really need it, and the rear discharge was going to be on order for 8 weeks, and the other one, they already have one coming, so we could get it within a week or so. It should be here pretty quick. I want to talk to you about the Headworks Project. I've seen a lot of pages of emails discussing this. Let me just tell you a couple of months, well, probably about 6 weeks ago, I had a meeting with our engineer on the long-term control plan. We started talking about that project. And we were going to be on a schedule to build it in 2024. Well, after our discussions, I started kicking around. I first of all started hearing about that there might be some infrastructure funding coming from the government, and there's already a couple $100 million that the state IFA has that they can give for grants. So I started talking to our financial consultant and the engineer about the possibility that we could get in line for some of those. And the only way to do it was for us to get a PER level design put together by last Saturday. So that was after this meeting, so I basically had to pull the trigger and make this all come together pretty quick prior to this, or we would have been in a likely position to be locked out to have an opportunity for any of these, because they almost have to be shovel-ready design, and they think this funding is going to happen towards the end of this year. So we're now on a schedule that will have us, they provided all the documents that were required to file for SRF financing. That doesn't completely lock us into SRF financing. There are other types of financing that we're going to be in a meeting in a couple of weeks to hear about. But we're, local, small communities are now eligible for RD, Rural Development Funds. We might be able to borrow money there cheaper, but we'll be looking into all those options. But we had to have this design done to a certain point by May 1st. In the next 2 months, we'll get the PER preliminary engineering report design done, and then in about the 5 months after that, they'll complete the final design, and this project now will be online to bid in March of 2022, about 2 years earlier than it would have been. As you saw in the grant application, or the loan application to SRF, the probable cost of this project will be $15 to $17 million. This is a project that we've been planning for and saving for, but it's just putting us on a quicker time schedule. We may not get any grants. It's possible that we don't, but if there's any chance to get them, we had to ramp this up. I couldn't really see any downside to going ahead. Our investment funds have not been making very much money lately, so there's no real reason that we need to hang on to those. We can go ahead and spend some money, and the cost of material is not going to go down any if we wait a couple of years the way things are going, so the quicker the better. So we filed the application, I signed all the documents. Now I would like, the main thing in that, the last page of that application, you'll probably see that there's a permission from you to give me permission to sign the documents that I hope you'll approve. And also, last week, we decided our wastewater permit requires us to have phosphorus removal online by the end, late to end of 2023. Since this project is going to be going at the same time, we made moves to go ahead and couple those projects together and save on a lot of permitting and high-dent permits and things that have to be, building permits that have to be procured now just once instead of twice. That project was looking at being somewhere between $200,000 and $400,000. So, like I said, we're going to go, the mayor and I are going to be in a meeting in a couple of weeks where we meet with all the lenders, all of the grant people in the state of Indiana, and we describe to them our project, and then people tell us ways that they can help. So we'll hopefully come up with some creative ways to help pay for this. The possibility exists that we could use $5 million of our own funds that we've saved for this, and maybe only be borrowing about $10 million, which our stormwater rates at the level they are now can handle that, can handle a payment on that.
Explain the reason of why this project is so important, because if people just heard $15 million, why is this project so important? Why is it something that has to be done?
Our long-term control plan requires us, I reported to you guys earlier, to spend about $21 million. That's the number right now, before 2030-ish. And this project will be part of that obligation. We knew it was going to happen, but we thought it was going to be a little bit later. But the long-term control plan requires us to separate stormwater. And our plan now is to take all that stormwater in the main trunk line sewer and treat it at the wastewater plant. This Headworks Project is what you'll hear me call it mostly, but it includes a big separator that will remove solids and things and help us get flow through that plant that will cause less. Right now our Headworks is water comes and pushes up against it, and it can only get through this Headworks that we have so quickly, not very quickly. This new Headworks will allow water or wastewater to get through it and move on into the plant process quicker, causing less backup into the system.
I'm guessing that's a pretty big footprint. Where is it gonna be down there?
And we're not exactly there yet. They kind of want to put it right there in the parking lot almost, but we don't like that idea, so it may move over to that little corner of the transfer station area that we just mow grass over there all the time. It may be out there, but it's still.
Where the solar panels used to sit?
Yeah. Out there in the corner. So I know that's a lot of info to throw at you, but anybody have any questions about it?
You're seeking post-approval of signing it? I'd make that motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you.
Post-approval for a couple of documents and pre-approval for the next 100,000 documents that will pertain to this.
And I should.
Can we get a new one of these to sign?
Yeah. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want to check page 3 on effluent?
Okay, move on down to old business. Anybody have any old business?
What's it here?
Brian, you want to talk about that? You going under miscellaneous?
If you want me to talk about it, it's fine.
Go ahead on the old business, be a part of it.
Okay. I met with IPET last week, Brad Culver and I, and the rep from IPET went through majority of the facilities. Really, everybody had done a really good job. The only thing we're missing is maybe a couple handrails along some stairwells, maybe some labels.
Explain what you did first so everyone's on the same.
We went through, like job site analysis. We wanted to be able to look on what OSHA would be looking at if they came into a facility to see where any discrepancies were. We didn't do any, this was just facility, it wasn't any motions or anything like that, so, we didn't look at personal behaviors or nothing. It was just strictly what was there. Wastewater treatment plant was top notch, there was hardly anything there. Everything labeled, light indicators, for any kind of gases, even though some of the gases aren't there anymore. That's, that was awesome. We skimmed through that. Some of it was just mediocre stuff to where like buying maybe a flammable paint cabinet and getting rid of some of the chemicals we have, spray paints and everything else, and we're getting them into a storage facility. Like I said, some of the railing on the stairs. A couple eye wash stations might just need to be installed just because they're too far, from the other ones, where people are working at. A lot of it was illuminating the exit signs. We looked at like a more of a luminescent tape that they have out there too that goes on the floor. So during the day, it's yellow or red and white or whatever it's, needs to be there. At night, because the lights shine down on the luminescent tape at, like if emergency shut off, and power went down or whatever, there's literally a luminescent line going down the facility to where it takes them to an exit door. A lot of times you'll have smoke 2 or 3 feet above the ground. They can't see the luminary sign above the door. So we're looking at some of the cost of that, and I'll spread that out to the department heads and see if they have that in their budget. It's very minuscule cost. It's not a whole lot. Other than that is just making sure we actually did look at the material safety data sheet storage, because OSHA just changed their laws last year, whatever, to where you can actually keep more of online versions. So we thought of maybe having a central place to where, you know, like all the MSDS sheets are stored, and then having them in the books where they normally go. And all of those, the books were in place of where they needed to be at. But if we back that up with more of a, like a virtual library, to where everybody can get into a portal or something and be able to look at them really easy. Another things, some things we saw was like even though the shop rags are contaminants. Like Jim Barrett's case when he was in Vistion, you grabbed a shop rag and you wiped your face, and all of a sudden you had a red mark across your face. A lot of the times the chemicals in the shop rag retains in the shop rag, so you can wash them 50 times and you can get 50 different chemicals that come into the shop rag. So we're looking at maybe a cost alternative source for shop rags, to where they're done with them, they dispose of them.
Can't you, I mean,
What facilities use shop
yeah,
rags?
anytime I use a shop rag, I use a shop rag. If you want something different, I mean, if you're going to rub your face with it, wouldn't you use something different?
Well, see, like Vistion had trichoethylene, a lot of it. So when they would wipe the trichoethylene off a part, throw it in the hopper, they take it to the facility that cleans it. That trichoethylene mixes throughout all the shop rags. So then any kind of coolant mixes in with those shop rags. So you can still wipe them with your hands, but most generally people will wipe them with their hands, or they get some grease on their face and they'll wipe the grease off on their face. A lot of the times they'll have metal shavings in a shop rag. From what it costs to be able to get the shop rags clean versus still using maybe a small amount of them, but get more of a clean wipe if you need to wipe your face. Along with like emergency eye wash stations. You know, after you get that done, you need something to be able to clean your face with, or be able to wipe your face with and get the water off your face versus using a shop rag. So, like I said, that will all be in an email too, of kind of designing, you know, what we can use in replacement of. A lot of these, from what Aaron's IPEP's result was too, and some of his past experiences and looking at things. So.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
The reason what he did was, IPEP comes in, we're working with IPEP very closely now, trying to develop good safety procedures and policies. They just did what they call an OSHA audit. So this is not an actual OSHA audit, but they walk through the facility just like OSHA would and point out things that need to be addressed. Because if OSHA walks through and you gotta address them, then you could have some other problems. IPEP comes through and says, this is what they're looking for, let's fix them now, so if there ever is an incident, or if OSHA ever does come through, we're good. And we know how we can take a proactive approach on fixing our facilities versus a reactive approach, which can get expensive. So that was the reason Brian went through and did that.
I don't doubt that it was an excellent walkthrough.
Yeah.
Just that, and it might sound minor, I just thought,
No, that's a good question.
I just thought that getting rid of all shop rags, because somebody might wipe their face with it, just.
Well, just from a guy who used to work at the shop all the time, you'll wipe whatever first thing you see. So if you get oil splashed on your face, you got a shop rag, you just grab it and wipe. And I do have a lot of metal shavings on my face because of that. But so that is true. But really, what this is just I just wanted to preface what he was doing. That's what he was doing. So if we do have an incident, or if OSHA does come in, we've already been walking through, and actually, I think just having that done, if OSHA knows that, will be a very proactive approach towards OSHA as well. They're like, so they know we've done the walkthrough, they know we're being proactive. That helps even if they find an issue, saying, hey, this is something you need to fix, but I see you guys have been very proactive, so that helps with that.
We met with the insurance company beforehand too, and went over some of the highest claims, you know, what's been in the past. So we tried to be able to focus on those areas too. Let's say some of them is like when Chad was asking Brad about the rear discharge on the mower. The same habits we have at home, we carry on to work as well. So if there's a chain guard that's missing, or something's missing off the mower, whatever, it's going to be able to let rocks fly out. Believe it or not, we pay out $10,000 a year in claims just due to broken windows from lawnmowers.
Yeah, like I said, I don't have any question that it was well done. It's just that, and it's probably minor, but just what it might cost you to buy a whole bunch of disposable rags as opposed to just.
Yeah, good
don't wash
question.
your face with.
Good question, but we're making a lot of steps and progress into our insurance claims, and, you know, just like just like Brian pointed out with the rock damages, those can be avoided. Not all the time they can't, but there's things that you can do to be proactive, and that's what we're trying to do, is be proactive, start bringing down our insurance claims and our costs, so. Thank you, sir. I know it took a lot of work. We got a lot more to do.
Yeah, there's
And,
quite a bit more.
but he's putting a lot into the insurance side of it, so I appreciate everything he's doing there.
Thanks, Ted.
Does anybody have any other old business or?
I have a question real quick.
Yes.
Is some of the things that need to be done to the different facilities, something have like dollar values that we can plan ahead for like capital improvement kind of things?
Yeah, that's
for
right.
Yes,
the budget coming up this year?
I did plan on putting in, if it's versus shop rags versus, and that's why I mentioned that, just to be able to have a cost analysis of what we're paying now maybe compared to what we might be paying if we want to look at that avenue.
Well, I wasn't really specific to shop rags. I was looking for better guardrails and which facilities, how many, what other kind of building improvements to get us to where we need to be, kind of thing.
I can go back and take pictures of everyone and send pictures too, but, you know, I mean, there's railings on 3 different walkways.
That's what she's asking about.
Well-
What would it
Well,
cost?
once we get the report, I don't have the report yet. He just got it done. Once we get the report, then we'll associate costs to that.
Well,
So we can do that.
to be able to do that and try to
Yeah.
plan to put that in next year's budget would help.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep, as soon as he gets that report done, we'll get our cost side tied to it, we'll do that. Any miscellaneous business? No, claims?
Claims for May 3rd payroll was $481,501.78. City claims was $43,054.27. Utilities was $295,301.43.
What was, city again? You said?
$43,054.27.
Okay, any questions?
Motion to approve the claims.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second to approve the claims. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you very much. Okay, we went down to public forum. Clint, anybody out there? Okay, if not, we'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So
Move.
We have a motion and a second, I believe I heard. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you very much.
I thought I heard it didn't scare you.